With Brett Yormark and the Big 12 Conference looking for ways to increase revenue for the league and trying to close the gap with the SEC and the Big 10, could streaming be the answer? And should the Big 12 go all in with Amazon or some other streaming service for their next TV deal? Pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and let's talk about it. What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Coos, and welcome into another edition of Coos' Corner. So pull that chair up, and let me serve you up this shot of top-shelf college football content. On tap today, we're talking Big 12 TV rights, college football TV rights in general, and how streaming could impact that. If you like that kind of content, especially Big 12 and West Virginia-related content, please hit that red subscribe button for me if you haven't yet. Please give me the thumbs up on this specific video if you like it. Please share it out with your college sports-loving friends. And last but not least, please drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this video and about this topic, which is the Big 12 potentially going all in with Amazon or some other streaming service for their next TV deal. Now, what made me think to do this video? Well, first of all, you remember back several weeks ago, and it's been in reports recently too, that Amazon has been involved with the Big 10 in their TV deal talks. It even was reported in some articles that Amazon may have even offered the Big 10 more money than NBC or CBS did. But the Big 10 was too afraid of streaming and that they may not get enough exposure, so they walked away from it. Well, now, apparently, according to some reports, they're back at the table again talking to Amazon as a potential, I guess, a Tier 3 rights holder or something of that nature. Streaming may not be such a bad idea after all. And the reason I say that is this article coming up right here that I'm going to share that I found on Market Watch. And the headline reads, the Paramount stock downgraded amid crumbling linear TV landscape. Scroll on down, it says Paramount Global Inc., who owns CBS, by the way, may have strong video streaming assets, but a crumbling of the broader linear TV ecosystem has one former bull questioning the stock's outlook. Wells Fargo's Stephen Cahill, and I hope I got his name right, downgraded Paramount shares 0.79%, negative 0.79% to equal weight from overweight, while slashing his price target to $19 from $40. You see that stock just changed in real time. That's pretty cool. We've been bulls on Paramount's content and streaming execution, he wrote. While those aspects have trended well and credit due to management, it increasingly feels like a myopic view on the stock. He added that he's increasingly worried about the linear ecosystem across media, and this strips away visibility into what we were playing for as bulls. A trough in earnings, with streaming driving growth on the other side. It means linear TV is dropping, but you're going to see streaming growing, and that's where most of the profits are going to be later down the road. Linear television is a traditional form of TV which is programmed and watched as scheduled through satellite or cable and is not streamed to a specific user on demand. Most of you probably already knew that. Now, here's the cee part of this article now. Cahill's downgrade of the media and entertainment company came alongside a cautious note on the state of the traditional media landscape more generally. In his view, some of the big names will have to decide on whether to scale back investments, give up on some sporting rights, or strive for industry consolidation. And listen to this. Sports rights may not be tenable for all of the current holders as linear declines, he wrote, noting that Warner Brothers Discovery, Inc. might not renew NBA rights in its current form, while Paramount's CBS might have to consider an early NFL exit. Think about that. Now, who just signed a deal with CBS? The Big Ten Conference. So, does this mean that CBS will now decide, hey, we've already got this deal with the Big Ten. We better not sign any more TV deals with any other conferences because linear TV is going to be declining, and we need to scale back our sports inventory. Think about that. This may not bode well for the future of college athletics as far as linear TV goes, especially conferences who have yet to ink a deal. So now that the CBS has this deal with the Big Ten, there's a chance they might not want to be involved with any other conference. They may say, hey, we got the Big Ten. We've got the one game every Saturday with the Big Ten. That's enough for us now. which would leave one less option on the table for the conferences like the Big 12 or the Pac-12. Now, another conference that may need to look out is the ACC. The ACC in this long-term TV deal with ESPN, which I'm assuming was probably based on linear programming at the time it was signed. 14 years remaining on that. Within 14 years, based on this article, linear programming is going to take a nosedive in value. So these ACC schools will either be stuck in a bad deal where they will get less and less exposure over time because linear is going to decline, or ESPN could sit down at the table with them and say, hey, let's renegotiate this thing and let's look more at streaming. So the ACC could be impacted by this. Hey, the future of every conference could be impacted by it. But the two that it can impact the most in the short term would be the Pac-12 and the Big 12, which is what I want to focus on right now. The Big 12, they're still 1 to 2 years away from signing their new TV deal. Now, they have started discussions early with ESPN and Fox because that's the only two networks they can talk about until the exclusive negotiating window is up, and that's not happened yet. But this news, if I'm an executive at Fox or if I'm an executive at ESPN, I'm looking at this news going, I don't want to pay a lot of money to the Big 12 or even the Pac-12 or anybody for that matter because linear is declining. Sports programming could be declining, live sports. So either one of two things is going to happen. A, they spend less money to these conferences, or B, they invest more money on the streaming side. So then the conferences have to make a decision. Do we want to get more put more of our content in streaming and make a deal with a streaming service like an Amazon, like an Apple, like maybe ESPN, put more stuff on ESPN Plus? What are our options here? What's the best option? So it would not surprise me one bit with Brett Yormark being this big-time thinker that they say he is and this forward thinker that they say he is. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Brett Yormark decides, hey, we're going to make streaming if once they get out of the negotiating rights window with ESPN and Fox, if they can't get a new deal with them, they might say, hey, man, let's sit down to the negotiating table with Amazon and let's give them our primary rights because that's the future. That is the future of TV, and that's the future of sports programming. So, hey, let's go ahead and think ahead and move forward. Now, that would be a huge risk because you might be sacrificing short-term gain for long-term stability, right? You might be short-term revenue loss for long-term stability. And maybe Brett Yormark is willing to do that. Maybe the conference is willing to do that. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. My personal opinion, I do not think they should go all in with streaming right off the bat. What I think they should do, though, is have streaming as a part of your equation. You should have a third-tier media rights deal with a streaming service and have some of your games on that service, which is what the Big 12 is doing right now with ESPN Plus. But I think maybe you bring somebody else to the table, like an Amazon if they're willing, or an Apple or somebody. Bring someone else in to the table and put more of your games on streaming services. I still think you need to use linear as your primary rights holders because in the short term, I think that's still going to be your primary audience. But you should make sure not to sign a long-term deal. You may only want to sign a 2 or 3 or 5 years at the most deal with these linear services and then have the streaming service as your third-tier rights holder or maybe even your second-tier rights holder. You keep that relationship with them, keep them at the table. That way, when your deal with the linear services is up, then maybe you look at going with the streaming service longer term and for a larger amount. Let me know what you think. Cougars Corner family in the comment section. Do you think the Big 12 should go all in with Amazon or all in with another streaming service? Or do you agree with my approach, going short term with linear, but keep a streaming service in your back pocket, keep a streaming service as part of your deal as a tier 2 or tier 3 rights holder? I want to know your thoughts. Also, guys, if you want to support my channel financially, you can do that by checking out my merch store. There, you can hit one of the pictures of the merch below. That'll take you right to my site. There's several different designs, several different products to choose from. Also, you can join my channel, become a member, take advantage of content that's for members only, including a raffle I have coming up for a mini helmet, which I'll be doing here in the next few days probably. If you want to support me absolutely free, you can do it in 4 ways. You can like this video, share this video, leave that comment, or last but not least, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to hit 5,000 subscribers before the end of the calendar year, and I need your help to do that. So please hit that red subscribe button. With that being said, I really appreciate you tuning into this episode. And until the next time, Q Country Roads.